Now, the rest of the story.
Oh, you guys didn't get to see this setup running very much, if at all. We ran 30 bales through it the other day to help me get done baling, and it's getting the same love and affection that it would always get. That needs to be secured back. Either if it did 200 bales or 20 bales. I'm gonna hit it with air hose, grease it, and not a big fan of it, but I'm actually having better luck going through and hitting these chains with WD-40 when they're warm, ideally. But once I get everything, you know, blown out and greased, I'll run it for a few minutes and I'll coat these in WD-40 and let that soak in. I was doing what was the other lube? I wasn't impressed. So I want this thing ready to go for fodder, and really going to be unhooking it and forgetting about it for a while. Monitor, globe, got to retorque the wedges, and I'm not sure if we're going to bother putting the duals on yet today. This was secured. Looks like the minorest of wear and tear, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. The cat's going to come up and give us a hand. Dad's dropping the flatbed off the 4640, and I gotta get that cart hooked up. He wants to move that, and I gotta do some stuff in the combine yet. Ideally, try to run beans tomorrow. So let's see what we can't do. The 76 is getting called in to go to work. We got the 79 on the easy trail. 76 is on the easy trail. Grain cart though. We gotta put a chain around the drawbar yet from the 3-point to support the drawbar, so I'm not tweaking the drawbar. But this is pretty much a shakedown day. We're getting everything filled up, making sure everything works. As of right now, it all does quite well, honestly. And with what little bit of room is still on this cart after we empty out what's in the grain bin or the hopper on the combine, Andrew's coming to calibrate our yield monitor because, well, it needs to be calibrated. We don't know what it's running. The monitor's just spitting out random numbers anywhere from 60 to 105. And we should be set. Okay, well, you love how when things aren't working and then for no reason whatsoever it just decides to start working. I'm in the 79. The easy trail wagon is back behind me. I have cameras in the wagon, I mean, from years past, because the 7600 has a monitor in it, because that is my typical roading tractor that is used to pull that wagon every year. The 79 is supposed to be taking up that job. So I went ahead and ordered another camera monitor. The cameras are the same ones that have always been on there. That one right there, is the one that just sporadically decided to start working. Quite seriously. All I could get was camera 1 to work. This is the camera that's mounted straight out the back, which is great because when you're going up and down the roads, it's nice to know when there's cars that are tailgating you that they're back there, because I've had people try to pass me as I'm going to turn in, because the turn signals do work on this tractor, on the wagon, on the 76 and everything, and people generally don't watch the flashing lights on heavy machinery. It's been my experience, and I had to go through and pair everything. So when I turned this on, camera number 1 picked up immediately. So, okay, now I need to go through and get camera number 2. And this one didn't want to pair. You push the OK button, it'll pair for 50 seconds? Okay, fine. there's a pairing button on the back of the camera. So I went up and I pressed the pairing button. Nothing. Well, we went ahead and combined beans, as you can tell, and the tractor's sitting back in the shed here all by its lonesome. And I'm working through, like, just my list of odd jobs to do is just, it's never ending. And I'm like, you know what, I would at least like to try to get this camera to work, because I would like to be able to see what's going on back there. When you're filling from the grain cart, mostly when I'm unloading on the go from the combine, it is nice to know to speed up or slow down, and even with the IVT it'd be easier to match the speed of the combine. But being able to see how much is in the back here is really important, because when I am unloading and in years where it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees below freezing, it's nice to be able to sit in the cab and let everything run from, you know, the warmness of the cab. And it's nice being able to at least see how low you're getting before you got to switch it out. I do think I need to go through and change the mirror on it, because it looks like it's backwards. What did that? Okay, there we go. So that is more appropriate, because all the beans are on this side. It was weighed heavier that way, which from our perspective, the camera is pointing back towards the corner of the shed. So that's what we want. So I'm happy there. Now all I want to be able to do is adjust this. When I go through the split camera, I want to do split camera 1 and 2 instead of 1 and 3. Let me do that. Menu to make it go away. Then we're going to select. This is camera 3, camera 4, camera 1, and camera 2. So really nice, just for quick reference. A, to see behind me, and B, just to see what's in the wagon. Works really great. I got these Halo views as a promotional thing. Oh, it's been a few years now, and I never really thought I'd like the wireless aspect of them. But when you have one machine, generally, like the 7600 is split, you know, in the fall it's hooked up to this or the round baler, and in the summer it was on the 566 before I had my 569, and the 76 was the primary baling tractor. But now it's not so much the case, but it's nice having a second monitor in the 79. So if I pair it with all the cameras I currently have, it'll talk to the cameras that are on the baler, it'll talk to the cameras that are on here, and being wireless, all you got to do is provide 12-volt power to those cameras. And the way I've gotten that around that is on the 7-pin plug for the tractor, you know, that little pigtail looking thing coming into the wagon. I actually tapped into the continuous power in that plug. It was back in the wagon. I did the same thing on the baler, so that way all I had to do was run a simple wire up to the camera, to each of the cameras, and then I just grounded the ground wire right to frame, and it works really, really slick. So I'm actually happy for that, because I thought I was going to have a little bit of a headache using the nozzle cleaners for the acetylene torch to press that button. The cats are going to destroy the, well, I guess that's fine, because the roll of net wrap is done. Kitty, kitty! Are you stuck? Are you stuck? Seriously? Watch out, dude. Are you stuck? Are you stuck? Got you. Well, he's fine. The duals are going to be going back in the 79. Largely because I want the stability. The tractor's narrowed up, so she's tall, and full load of beans, I went down the field road and just turned around, just to kind of get a feel for how the tractor will pull the wagon, and how it feels as an operator of machinery. Anybody that's still watching my channel understand, you know, when you're sitting in the seat and actually running it, you actually get a feel for how the machine is actually handling it. And one thing I feel, that when this tractor is on singles without the duals in the back, it is very top heavy, and you sway back and forth, not very much, I mean in total, but when you're up top in the cab, a little bit of movement, you know, between the two rear tires, you know, height difference, you're rocking back and forth, and I would just feel a lot better, a little bit more comfortable having the duals on it. I mean, other than wear and tear in the duals, we ran all summer with them on, largely just because of what I just told you. It's stability. So I got to go through, that's done. Just, it's the random odd jobs I keep remembering and forgetting the different things I want to work on. And I think the next one, I'm going to clean that baler off quick, get that back in the shed because we won't need it for a while. And as boring as it sounds, I'm actually going to get the glass cleaner and I'm going to go wash some windows. I mean, I would pressure wash all the tractors off and everything, but number one, it's a dirt floor shed and everything's going to be in and out of the shed. Number two, we're harvesting soybeans, and the nice wash job that I do doesn't really last very long. So that's why you primarily see me focusing on trying to keep cab windows clean, keeping the cabs blown out with air, and just trying to keep the operator comfort as high as I can. I like having clean machinery, don't get me wrong, but having the 79 in here, between the birds and the dust that gets kicked up, I mean, you know, doesn't take very much walking around, but when you go 4, 8, 12 paws running around in here, it kicks up dirt and dust and it settles on the expensive machinery. So there's that. I think as far as harvest goes, I don't know what it's yielding yet. Andrew hasn't gotten here. I'm hoping he's still going to show up tonight, but depending on if we're going to start fighting rain or not, because in the last 24 hours I've heard there's no rain in the forecast whatsoever, and I've also been told that it's going to rain every other day. So it's going to be one of those things where it's going to do what it's going to do. You don't want to harvest beans when they're in the single digits, but at the same time, you'd rather not to harvest them in the single digits of moisture, you know. Ideally, 13% is where you'd want to be. And it's just one of those things where if you can harvest them, you need to harvest. The weather can do funky things so easily. I mean, as far as my hay bales, that was the last bale, that one right there. Well, it was the last bale that we made, and when I cut the hay for down at the valley, they were only calling for the rain chances the night that we got done cutting, which wouldn't have hurt it whatsoever. And then we got 2 weeks rain. So that tells you how wishy-washy the weather can be. So you just kind of do what you can do as you can do it. So I think that's enough of me talking for now. On to the next task.